Okay, hi everybody. I am Blake Cabot, and we're looking at Vanessa's light. I'm not sure why we're doing that. And
Oh,
I am the owner of FacePaintcom. I should have mentioned that while I was typing that all out. And we're here with, we had Vanessa do some sugar skulls. Um, and it was great. And somebody said we wanted to do a Dreamcatcher Sugar Skull, and that was one of her favorites. And I think maybe
it was my daughter.
it was your daughter's favorite one. That's right.
Yeah.
And your daughter thought that was just great. So we decided, okay, that was the thing we're gonna have to do, and we're gonna have her back in April. So we'll
It was
as we're
my
going
daughter.
through this, hopefully we'll find other things that we can have Vanessa do, because it's great to have her back. And so with that, I think we're going to watch Vanessa paint a sugar skull on herself. Okay.
Hi everybody. Yes, my daughter was the one that said that it was her favorite. And I think I painted this design like maybe 4 years ago. So I was like, oh great, a challenge. But no, sugar skulls are fun. And this one is going to be pretty intricate. I don't have my model today, so I blank canvas today, no makeup. I'm going to be painting myself. Bear with me because it's been a while since I've painted myself. So it's going to be a challenge, but it'll be fun. So yeah, but we'll get right into it. So let's see. Like always, I usually start off with the base, which is going to be the Krylon white and a kabuki brush. And I'm just going to spritz that a few times with my water and get my kabuki brush loaded.
Hello, Australia. So we have, what's our, I don't know. Everybody's just kind of logging in right now.
Oh, okay.
Kabuki brush.
So it'll be interesting to talk while I paint, but this is I really do like the Krylon white. It's really good coverage.
Holland, North Carolina. We're going to have a bunch of Europeans, I feel, because this is a good time for them, comparatively.
Nice. Well, hello, everyone. I'm just going to go ahead and put the base on.
And why do you like Krylon?
It's just a super soft coverage. It's pretty powdery. It's not like waxy like the other paints. Those are a lot, for me, I like using those for like line work, things like that. But for a full face base, and to get that buildable soft coverage, I find that the Krylon does really well.
We also have Belgium and Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Nice. Hello.
Maria asks, I'm always having problems with the base. Do you think it's brand or humidity?
I mean, it could be both, but if you can try the Krylon white, something that's not so glycerin based, like that wax part of it, it'll be a little bit easier. I mean, some people even use the powders, which you can try. Right now, like this is pretty much my favorite base and my go-to. It's just pretty buildable. If you notice, I'm going over the same areas and it's not getting streaky, it's not getting cakey, it's not pulling paint off. It's pretty nice and buildable, which is really good.
So I put the Maron Kabuki brush because I think it's pretty close to what you're using. Oh, we also have Mexico as well.
Hello. All right. And that's pretty good because I'm gonna start building up some color on the base. So yeah, I think this is pretty good coverage. And so now I'm gonna go in with, let's see. I'm gonna go in with a big blush brush and just start building some color onto my face. And then for as far as you know, sugar skulls, I tend to, as much as I love my split cakes, which I use 95% of the time when I'm doing events like kids events and you know parties and things like that. For sugar skulls, I do tend to switch it over to like makeup palettes. So eyeshadows, powders, things like that. It's just a little bit easier to work with when you're doing a sugar skull. It's a little bit more makeup than the, you know, one strokes and things like that. I'll use my face paint for like my line work and things like that. So yeah, so let's go with, and then for the eyeshadows and stuff, that's really your preference. You're looking for, you know, the more opaque that you can find, the better. And so, you know, this one is just, you know, a different brand. There's just so many that you can choose and you can pick from. So, all right, so let's start building it as far as the color.
Also Peru.
All right. So I'll just start adding some color. I'm actually going to pick up a different brush. And this, you know, if you do your own makeup, it's pretty similar. The technique that I'm using, it's more of like a, you know, contouring. You're putting your blush on. So you bring it up to the forehead. You're building it right underneath, right where you would, you know, you have this, the jawbone and your cheekbone. And then we'll add some more color on the cheekbone to kind of bring that bone out a little bit.
And what paint are you using there, or are you just using normal blush?
This is just powder. Yeah, this is just eyeshadow.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the fun part that I like about the Sugar Skull. So this is just a fun color pop palette that I have, and I'm really liking these colors right here. And sometimes even that is helpful. Like, you know, when you're, you know, some people have a hard time with color combinations and things like that. If you pick up, you know, palettes like these, this is your color combination right here that you can work off of. You can't really go wrong. So yeah, so once you get used to what colors go with what, you can pick whatever, you know, colors you want and whatever palette you want. But you know, this one's going to be fun. I like this one. Has a mix of the mattes and it has some really like shiny thick glitter stuff that we're going to use around the eye, which will be fun. And so I'm putting it under the jaw. And this is fun because, you know, instead of having that normal, just white stark face that you're used to, you're just adding some of that color to it, bringing in your features or your client's features into the design, which is fun. So yeah, this is going to be a little bit more this is, well, actually a lot more intricate than I typically do for, like, you know, if I'm doing kids or if I'm doing like a, you know, quick face for parties and things like that. You know, I probably won't take as long. I'll still do this step. I probably wouldn't do maybe the nose, and I won't go into like top it off right here on the cheekbone, but this is going to be more for that private appointment or, you know, a photo shoot, those types of things. Since you're going to get a little bit more
Or
money.
your daughter. Jane has a question. I used a new white powder after white face paint, which was still a bit wet. Now I can't use it anymore. Any tips?
So what was the question? She can't use.
She had used a new white powder after white face paint, which was still a bit wet. So she put her face paint on, and then she used white powder on top of that, and then it messed up her white powder. because the face paint was still too
you know,
wet.
I think I know what she's talking about. It almost looks, it's like hard at the top, I think, because I think I have one that is something happened like that too. I mean, personally, I don't know what like the best technique is, but I would just scrape off that top layer.
That's what
And you
Kathleen
should,
said. She said scrape it.
yeah, yeah, I would just scrape off that top layer and you should be okay. So yeah. Okay, so then I'm gonna go in with another brush and I'm gonna do the highlighting part that I was talking about earlier. Going with another brush. And this one will be using like a shimmery white like this. And this is just going to be our highlighting points. And you could use a bigger brush for this. I just can't find mine.
You got a million brushes. You have a craft and go there.
I have a
like
ton and
4,000.
it's crazy, but I can't find the one that I really want to use right now.
How long will the white powder that you're using stay on?
The base?
Yeah.
I mean, it'll stay it'll stay all day if you're good to it, right? I mean, it's still face paint. So as long as you're not sweating up a huge storm, it should be fine. But I use like the Krylon setting spray. And that helps like prolong everything. So I'll use that for when I'm doing, you know, clients that are paying for this private appointment. So I'll spray that on to help. And so we're going to go on the tip of the ridge of the nose. Hope you guys are all seeing this okay.
Yeah, it's looking fine.
Okay, good. The chin. The top of the forehead. And so again, you can see like there's just highlighting points here and there. Yeah. So, and this is just a base still. It doesn't have to be perfect. You know, most of the time we're going to be covering it anyways, but it's just that nice extra depth that you're going to get when you start layering. And that makes the difference between doing something really fast and just simple versus when you're doing a private appointment or for photo shoots and things like that. All right, so now we're going to go with the color inside the eyes. And so I'm going to go with, again, I think most people know for the eyes, I do like using these.
Smoothie blenders?
Yeah, the smoothie blenders. And so it's just for me, it really, because of the curve that it has, is just really easy to kind of swivel back and forth and get that circular shape that you need for the eyes. And so it's pretty nice. So we're going to go in with, I'm really liking this green. I'm going to go in with this green right here, but I really, or maybe the green and gold. That's pretty. So let's go with the green and gold. So we're gonna, I usually, if I'm gonna do two colors in the eye, I'll start off with the lighter color on the inside of the eye and then use the darker color on the outside.
Okay.
And so we're just gonna do that. And so if you notice, I'm just kind of swiveling back and forth and it already gives me that shape that I'm looking for. And so I'm going to go all the way up to just underneath that the top of my eyebrow. I don't want to go over. I don't want to go past that. Just remember when you're doing the eyes, you know, again, everyone has their own style, but for me, I prefer not to make the eyes too big because then I think it just overpowers the design and the look. And you can easily go too big with the eyes when you start putting paint past the eyebrow. Now there is a trick though, when to think about when you're actually going to start doing the line work. You don't want to do line work cutting through the eyebrow or even in the eyebrow, because it's just going to be a mess. So the thing that I do is I'm going to put as much eyeshadow on my eyebrow, and then from there I will be outlining that out. The outline will be just above the eyebrow. So I still, you know, giving myself room to work with that eyebrow, so that I'm not having to struggle and paint, through it or anything like that. But I'm not going to make it too big, and then just have these really huge eyes. I'm going to go on the other side. You guys can see okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Go.
And feel free to ask any questions, you guys.
Yeah. How's everybody doing? I miss face painting, you guys.
Yeah. It's just, it's tragic. The social economy is just a lot of fun, and sadly we can't do it right now.
Yeah. So I have my gold right here on the other side. I'm just going to switch over and pick up some green. And then when I want to kind of start blending, I can go in between the two. So that's something that's kind of nice too, because makes it a little faster when I'm working, not having to pick up too many different tools, just for when I'm working around the same area, especially.
Someone asked, where do you buy your powder palette eyeshadow?
Anywhere. This one is actually just a ColourPop, and you can get that online. I think they sell ColourPop at Sephora or Ulta. There's different places. I'm always on the lookout for some. I know Elisa Griffith, she has some really pretty colors. She has her own palette.
We carry her line.
Yeah, and her stuff is specifically for these kinds of looks, because they have pigment, things like that. And for me, I'm not for just one brand, because it's just too much fun. There's just so much out there. So, I'm always trying out new things. And I've actually never tried this palette before for face painting. This is actually just my personal palette that I use for makeup. But the colors were calling to me today, so we went with it.
That's good.
So again, just going kind of back and forth. Turning my blender back and forth to kind of blend it all in. Again, just keeping in mind not to go too big for the eyes. All right, it's pretty. So there you go. So I got the eyes done. And now for this one, because we're doing, it's going to be like it's the Dreamcatcher theme. So my focal point is going to be right here. And I'm going to put somewhat like my version of a Dreamcatcher. Again, these are all, you have a certain amount of space on your face, so you don't have to be literal with it. So it doesn't have to be a traditional dream catcher that you're going to see with feathers hanging down. I'm actually going to do kind of the webbing of a dream catcher here and the feathers coming up from the eyes. So, it doesn't have to be literal. It's just figuring out with your face, things that you can add and kind of go with that theme and make it fun. So I'm going to go in with the same color as that gold. And I'm going to just use the same smoothie blender and give myself a circle on the forehead. And again, I love this tool for so many reasons. I'll use this for my face painting for parties, for boys, when I've got to fill in a whole eye for a skull. I mean, it's just so easy. And it's super soft, so they don't really fuss over it when it gets close to their eye. It's super easy just to kind of make a circle. You just have so much control. So there's that. I think that's big enough. And just remember, you guys, a lot of it is seeing it before you paint it or seeing it while you're painting it. If I go way too big, I'm not going to be able to add details around it, because then it's just going to it's going to be even larger. So you want to start off smaller and then build off of that.
Everybody loves your mirror.
Oh, Andrea.
Andrea.
Oh, I know. I just see it's like poking out right there. But yes, my mirror. I love my mirrors. She's amazing. I love her mirrors. So let's see. Yeah, you guys just had her on, right? She was doing her
Pro Air.
Pro Air.
Yeah, exactly.
She's talented with that stuff, man.
She is.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go with, now this is where I'm going to come in.
Do you have difficulty painting yourself? I mean, somebody asked that earlier.
So I used to paint myself a lot, and I would say no, I loved painting myself. I haven't painted myself in a while, but it's kind of like just riding a bike, I guess. So yeah, I'm having fun with it. So we're gonna go in with a split cake, and this is gonna be for the feathers. So I'm just gonna pick a color that I think will go with what we're doing. And I think I'm gonna go with a green. So sorry if I'm turning my back to you guys for a little bit. I'm just picking out my color. All right, get some water. And I'm using Mars, no, this one's the Romantic Rose by Cameron. So this is just that angle brush.
Okay. What size is it roughly? It looks like a half inch.
Yeah, it's a half inch.
Okay.
So now let's go with, sorry, just thinking, you guys. I think I'm gonna do, we're actually gonna do a different color. So just picking up some of that paint, and I'm going to be going in with the darker shade on the outside of my brush. That's what the color I'm going to be leading with. All right. Get a little bit more water. All right. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be bringing some two feathers coming up from this way. Let's start this way. Okay. And just keep in mind that I'm going to be layering. So there's going to be a feather in front here and a feather in back. So because I'm going to be layering, I want to start with the feather in back. So I'm going to go higher. I don't know if you guys can see. So just flickering moves back and forth. And I'm just going to fill that in. Then I'm going to start from down here. And go like that. Okay. And right now this is just the base. We'll go in and start adding some detail. And I think I'm actually going to, we'll do some flowers here at the bottom. Okay. But let's go with the other eye and just do those those feathers.
And what's the difference between a Dreamcatcher? Is it just the feathers?
The Dreamcatcher?
Or from a normal sugar skull? Or from, yeah.
Well, I guess I don't really see there's like a normal sugar skull. It's just this one is just like a theme one. So Dreamcatcher just it's just my interpretation of the theme that I'm going with on how I'm going to implement it into a sugar skull. So usually we have things that wrap around the eye, whether it's flowers or swirls or things like that. And so instead of doing those things that I would typically do for a sugar skull, I'm using my theme inspiration, which is the Dreamcatcher.
Mm-hmm.
So just like anything, if I was doing butterfly, I did a butterfly one and it was inspired by butterflies, and I did a butterfly wing around, that type of thing. So it just really, just my interpretation. Yeah. So there
Everybody
you go.
likes the kabuki brush. Or Diana says she uses it for most of her designs with white background, like a clown or vampire.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Skulls, things like that. It's great.
Oh, Miho says hi, Vanessa.
Hi, Miho. She's my girl from LA. All right. So let's go in with another color and do some flowers. But you guys are really seeing me just kind of go with it, because it's been a while since I painted something that, this design, as far as like being inspired by the Dreamcatcher. So I'm just kind of going with it, having some fun.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going to add some flowers. Right now, this is a really pretty split cake that I really like. The colors are so pretty. Just kind of wiggling, pushing down and layering to getting those flowers just like that. Pretty. We're going to add a little bit, just kind of just bring it in. I'm going to add some flowers to the top of that circle that I did, which is going to be part of that Dreamcatcher. And don't be afraid to not be symmetrical. It's kind of fun to just
be a little off.
Yeah. So do that.
All art.
And then you always want to tie in something at the bottom of the chin. That's something that I like to do. It's just to kind of balance it out. Doesn't have to be exactly the same at the top, but just these little things that kind of tie everything together. All right, so we're going to go in with, I'll add some green just because why not? Okay, put those leaves in there. And for this one, I am using the dagger, the 1/4 dagger from Marcella's Blazing Brush.
Uh-huh.
Which is a really pretty, fun brush. When you get to use it, there's so many different, it's almost like there's no wrong way to use this brush.
Which split cake was the pink one?
It's a homemade one. Yeah. I'm trying to think. There is one that is like this. I think it's called oh man, I'm gonna just guess right now, but I think it is, what's her name? You guys, I might have to get back to you on that one, because I know there is, I pretty much made my own version of it because I couldn't find it. So I know it's out there that you guys can actually get.
Okay.
Sorry.
No worries.
But if it comes to me.
Then it comes to you.
Yeah. like I said, you guys, there's like no wrong way to use this brush. I like totally, and then I'm kind of flicking down to add some, just these little flicks of greenery. All right.
Okay. Leanne Courtney has one in her palette, says Dominique.
Oh, what is it?
I'll look.
I don't know why I can't think of her name.
It's a fusion one, I think.
Yes, I think it is. Oh,
Okay.
Peaches and Cream. I remember the name. I just don't remember. I'm sure you guys know her name. I do too. I just like drawing a blank.
Peaches and cream. Okay.
She's Natalie.
Oh, Natalie Davis.
Yes.
Okay.
Now that's a pretty color. And I couldn't
Okay.
find it for a while, so I kind of just try to mimic it and made my own little palette of it. All right, so we're gonna go in with the black now. So yeah, so let's start with the eyes. And this is where, let's see, let me get another brush. I'm using just a number, I like to go with my number 3 brush for my line work. And so I'm going to get that, and then I'm going to get a brush that I'm actually going to drag and pull in that darker, that black, so that I can blend it in. So this is a technique that you paint as you go. So this is the only part that I have to kind of cut into the eyebrow, which is like right here. And that's because I don't want to, I don't want to start that circle over here. My eyebrow just, that's where it starts. Everyone has a little bit of different eyebrows. So I can even drag a little bit while it's still wet, drag it here so it's not so harsh, and I don't have to go in there with the brush. So just dragging and blending as I go.
Mm-hmm.
And here you're just kind of following that flow of your eye. Drag as you go. It's just blending.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm going to start here in the center. Just easier for me. I have a little bit more control. And I would say this is probably the, the harder part is getting those lines thin and controlled. I know we all have we all started, when we started, we had a little bit of trouble with that. It's just practice, you guys. That's, practice makes perfect. All right, we're going to go on the other side. It helps too that you have, a light hand. And if you know you don't have a light hand, because some of us just naturally have a heavy hand, use the thinner brush. Maybe your go-to brush for your line work is a number 1 or a number 2. So there we go. Just blending. How's everybody doing? It is more intricate, so it will be a while. All right, so those are the eyes. And since we're in the eyes, we're gonna start outlining and giving a little bit more definition to the feathers. So we'll start off with the one on top. And just flicking. Everyone still with me? You guys still with me? All right, I'm gonna keep talking. Now I'm just outlining and pushing, getting more pressure as I go, but lifting at the same time. Feel like this is, you can get away with not having to outline your flowers, like really per se, like, with like, almost like drawing. This is just kind of giving it that organic feel. And I like the thin to thick techniques on my designs just because I feel like you can get away with a lot more. You can add depth and texture and things like that. All right, so there you go. Just adding some details. Just like that. All right, so now we're gonna go in. And this is where I'm gonna kind of bring in that Dreamcatcher aspect to the eyes. In addition to the feathers, we'll go in with some white to add some highlights and more details, but we're gonna add some dots around the eye. All around. All right. And so then we're gonna go in and kind of almost, I guess, like lace it. So you don't want too much paint with this. Let's see if I can, want to be very light. Do it on the other side. So I can't hear anything, but I can see from the video that it's still going on, especially on Facebook. So I'm hoping you guys can hear me. All right, so there you go. And we're just going to add some more.
You haven't. Oh, you know what? I had myself on mute all this time.
Okay.
So
I could see it going still. So I was like, I hope
my
everyone can hear me.
my dear great aunt called me with some emergency, so I
Oh,
needed to answer
hope,
that call, and then I was
well,
on mute. So everybody's watching it, and Peggy says that's looking gorgeous.
okay. Yay.
You thought I died and just left you there. I come back in an hour and a half, and yeah.
All right, so we're going to add some detail around the flowers now that are going to be somewhat similar to some of the stuff that I've seen on different dream catchers, which is like the draping and the lines that come down that usually have feathers attached and things like that. So let's start with that. So I did some draping there, and then I'm going to add things like that. So we're going to start off thin, press, and then flick out. You can even do ones where you're thin, thick, and then a dot, and then another dot. So things like that. All right. There you go. And do the same thing on the other side. And you guys, this is just those extra little things that you can do on your private appointments. All right. So just like that. Just adding some detail where I think I'd want them. So I think that's pretty good. So we're going to go in and just do this bottom part since I have the flowers already.
Okay.
Doing some outlining. We're going to do the same thing, kind of add some of these.
Crystal thinks this is stunning.
Oh, thank you. Just adding those thin lines. Remember, try to be thin with your lines. All right, so that's good enough there. And now we're going to go up here. And this will be a little tricky for me because I'm doing it on myself. It'd be much easier if I had my canvas, but my model, but I'm going to try and give myself kind of a perfect circle because it is a dream catcher. This is going to be what that, the actual dream catcher with the webbing. So I added these on purpose because I knew if I just left a circle and I had to like draw myself on a circle, it was going to be not good. So this actually helps me. It's going to give me a little bit of wiggle room and not having to do an entire circle that's going to be perfect. I have this to work with that I'm going to, have to draw out, but the rest of it, pretty easy. we're just going to add those same kind of flowers.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And so from here, I can probably start from this way. And what I'm going to do is press and flick up. So instead of trying to draw that perfect circle, I'm just going to go in with a like a teardrop. And so I'm going to do the same thing on the other side.
Miho thinks that your line work is amazing.
Oh, thank you.
And
I'm stressing out a little bit, Miho, because it's been a while.
Kathleen said, for private appointments, is there a style of sugar skull that is more popular?
I would say most people do want like a traditional, but they, you know, when my clients book with me, I sometimes they'll send me pictures, and you know, it's great as a reference as far as what kind of style that they're looking for, and most of them are looking for that traditional. Um, but when I show them the work that I do, it's kind of like, you know, I never really go off of a picture and do exactly that. It's usually what I'm feeling that day or the vibe that I'm getting for them, what they're wearing, what they're doing it for, that type of thing. So it always becomes more of a personal, um, like a personal design for them. And I think they appreciate that more. So I've never gotten anyone that was like, no, I want this exactly. Sometimes you need to tell them as an artist, like, well, that's not mine. So, but we can do something similar, and I'll add some of my, like my artist, my you know, my touch to it, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this is what we're gonna try to do. So we're gonna do some, you know, webbing, but you know, I don't want to draw it out on myself. If you know, I could probably challenge myself more if I had a model and it'd be a little bit easier. But for me, I'm just gonna go in with some teardrops. There you go. Instead of drawing a line, I'm just going to make things easier for me and use dots. And you guys, these are tricks that you guys can use even like on your client. Like if you're not comfortable like doing these intricate lines and having to be super precise, there's so many techniques that you guys already know that you could just use, you know, you know, you're like visually you're showing them that there's a line, but it's not really like a perfect circle line that you have to draw out. So today I'm helping myself out because I know if I try to do some perfect line like circles right now, it would not happen. All right. As I'm just adding, building. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Okay, so here we are going to just start adding some swirls coming down from the Dreamcatcher. Now, typically for a Dreamcatcher, you'll have these lines coming down and feathers and everything, but you know, we have our feathers coming down from here. So again, it doesn't need to be literal. So we're just gonna add. There you go. Sorry, guys. I have my little son here, and it's just me and him. Yes, go, baby, go. Go. Can you please just go?
It's okay.
All right. And so I actually have a bee over here too. So all right. There you go. So I think that's pretty good. We're just gonna there you go. Okay, so now we'll just keep going on with the black. I'm going to go in with some highlights and stuff like that with the white afterwards. I'm going to go now and do the bottom piece of the face. And this one, if you notice, the line work that I'm doing is more of this thin to thick and then thin. So I'm going to do the same thing with the mouth. So depending on the designs that I'm doing, sometimes I have these swirls that are going on around the eyes, and I'll bring it down into the jawline area. So, think of stuff like that, even the line work that you can kind of put together and, put throughout the face so that it all has like a certain vibe to it, right? Instead of having like these thick lines and then, stuff like that. So, let's start off with this. So if you notice, it's that thin to thick, and I thinned it out.
Maria asks, she says she loves sugar skulls and the Mexican and our Mexican traditions. I'm really curious, in a private session, how long do you need for this design, for example, and how much do you charge?
So I typically it usually is an hour is enough for me. I don't want to do more than an hour, because then I an hour and a half at the most. And it also depends if they're doing the neck and the chest. There's just so many things, but for a face, I would say an hour is plenty for me. I go in there already having kind of an idea. I usually ask, what kind of headpiece they're wearing or their dress or something. So I at least have an idea of what I'm going to be working with. But as far as what I charge, I try to charge at least what I would do hourly. So if I'm going to do an hour of one face, it's going to be, sorry, 125 for me. And that's what I charge. Again, it's going to be different if I'm doing the neck or the chest and stuff like that. But my 125 is for the time that it takes me. Now, if it takes me 30 minutes or 45 minutes, it's still 125. It just depends. But that includes lashes, gems, and then depending on what they're doing that evening, I'll have like my the more like it's not the permanent paint, but it's
Alcohol based?
Yes, alcohol based. I couldn't think of it. So there you go. And then we're going to start bringing some of the, these swirls and things like that down.
Okay. Uh-huh. Diane says it's she loves your uniqueness.
Well, thank you. And then we're going to do the same thing and start bringing some swirls up this way. So just like that. All right. Then we're going to go and fill in the nose. Fill that in. And now you can leave it like this, or you can, again, bring in that same flow, those same lines that you've been doing into your nose. All right, so something like that. There you go. And then so let's go in with some shading and then some white.
Cool.
So in the shading, this too is a big difference in your design when you're doing the stuff that we would typically do for like a festival versus your private appointment.
Mm-hmm.
And shading does make a huge difference.
And you're just using a makeup pencil, or is that face
I
paint?
am just using a makeup brush. It's and then I'm using black eyeshadow.
Okay.
So I'm just going to go in and add shadowing in all the places that I think would kind of make an impact. And this is like, you're just highlighting those teeth, those kind of bringing those teeth out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I'm going to go in and add some shadowing into the flowers. Just adding a little bit more depth.
Mm-hmm.
And on the outside of your flowers and your leaves. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Go. I'll add a little bit too.
So what should you wear with a sugar skull?
Huh?
What outfit should you wear with a sugar skull?
Well, some people wear their like they'll wear a costume with it, I've done for private appointments is usually because they're having like a Halloween party and stuff, even though it's not really a Halloween event. They'll get dressed up for it. But it's Mexican blouse. I mean, I wear a Mexican blouse when I'm doing my events, like if I'm doing a Day of the Dead event or a festival, and so
Mm-hmm.
I'll wear that. But it's not really like to dress up or for a costume or anything. A lot of people for the festivals that I do, they're just out there and it's just something that they feel like it's gonna, um, show homage to the people that have passed or to someone that they have passed recently or be a part of you know, um, the thinking of those who have passed
Mm-hmm.
on. And so, and it's not necessarily, I don't do too many Halloween ones. The ones that I do, but yeah, they do get dressed up and they're dressing in like their like dresses, like Mexican dresses, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's add some white. I'm going in with my number 3. How are we on time?
Well, we're over.
Oh no. I'm over here
It's-
thinking like I need to slow it down or something.
no. It's 6:36. So we've been at it for about an hour and 6 minutes. But I want you to
Okay,
finish. It's such a beautiful design.
we are almost done. Just adding some white. Well, thank you guys for hanging in there with me.
No, everybody's enjoying it. So while you're doing this, I'll tell everybody what webinars are coming up. We've got in January 18th, we got Pam Kinnenberg doing arm designs. And then January 25th, we have Marcella Bustamante doing Florida winter designs. And then we have Elodie Tournois doing advanced unicorn designs in February.
Wow, that is a great lineup.
It's not bad. I love Pam. She's just one of my favorite people.
Her work is amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
All right, almost.
Oh, somebody asked, are you going to put lip color on this?
Yeah, I will. It's usually my last thing that I do.
Kathleen says we're all out of practice. Not untrue.
Uh-huh.
Emily says, love it. It's awesome. And Brianna says, time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah. All right, just a few more white details and go with the lips. is where you're going to just see me kind of just throw it all together now. All right. Okay. So let's go on with that lip color. Usually I'll put on some lipstick, but I don't have it here with me. So we're just going to get a color that I think will work here, which is magenta.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll go with this color.
Kathleen says these details really bring it all together.
Yeah. I mean, it can go
everybody
on
wants this
forever.
mirror. Where do you get these mirrors?
Andrea?
Andrea. Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to, don't have my phone with me. Well, it's actually recording. You know her Instagram?
Yeah, well, I've got her. I think you can probably Facebook her and Messenger, and she'll tell you about it.
Yeah.
Actually, I think we carry her mirrors.
Oh, do you? That's awesome.
No, we carry some of her other stuff, but not her mirrors. Okay, so if you contact Andrea Nicole Mohe, or better yet, if since she's watching,
is she?
Yeah.
Hi, Andrea.
Oh, someone asked about your water cups, and
Target.
do they Target, and do they stack?
No.
They do not stack.
All right, so let's add some glitter, and then I think we'll be done.
Cool.
I mean, I would go further. I for me, I'd still do the eyeliner here, add some eyelashes, gems, but that'll take forever. So let's just add some glitter.
Mm-hmm.
And I use Jacqueline's glitter, which is the vivid glitter. Mm-hmm. Love her glitter. All of her glitters.
Yep, that we carry.
Yeah. Yes, I love it all.
Desiree says you've inspired her.
Oh, yay. So I'm going to go in with one that's called Purity. And this is just going to, sorry, I'm going to add it to the highlight of, to highlight my cheekbone. So right there. There, find some spots that, I'm not going to really cover the design.
So do you get the glitter gel or the glitter mix?
Oh, so this is, I'm obsessed with her gleam, the vivid gleam. I just love not having to like fuss with the glitter. And I used to have to spray the, I would spray these and then dip it into the loose glitter, but I'm loving the gleam.
And the gleam is the gel?
The gleam is the, what, I guess, I mean, it doesn't feel like a gel.
Okay.
And it doesn't, it doesn't mess up the paint. So
So are you going to go prepare dinner for your family with that beautiful sugar skull? Somebody asked.
No, I'll probably take it off later. It's still early over here. It's only 3:40 over here.
Yeah, so you can wear it a while.
Yeah. Okay, so then I'm going to go in with some gold and add it to that top. And this one is, I don't have the name for this one, but I'm going to add it here. I'll add it a little bit. Now, I typically don't add the chunky glitter to the eye, but this is me, so I'll be okay. And then we're going to go in with a green. But yes, I love all her colors. They're all so pretty. This one is, where is it at?
We've had Jacqueline a couple times.
Hmm?
We're having her February 15th.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you guys have her a couple of times.
She's great.
Adding that green. All right. I mean, you can go on and on and on and on. So I'll stop there.
Oh,
But
that's
so
a
yeah.
spectacular design.
So thank you for bearing with me, just kind of going through it. But I would still add eyeliner, lashes, gems, all of that. So yeah, this is the, you know, my little version of a Dreamcatcher Sugar Skull. So there you go.
So your daughter was right. That's a very good sugar skull.
Yeah, I even have my, let's see if I can grab it. It's right here. Have my little headpiece on display that I made.
Nice. There you go.
There you go. All nice and done.
There you go. That looks fantastic.
Hey, thank you guys for joining me.
Oh, someone asked, Yvette wants you to come close to the camera so they can get take a picture. There we go.
Oh no, that too close is not always good, you guys.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about it. You look terrific. Okay, well, thank you everybody for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week with Pam Kinderberg. Okay.
Yay,
Thank
you. Bye.
Thank you very much. This has been great. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.